Some say this is the end of times.
Interrupting! We need to go!
This will be our last broadcast. Get out of the cities. It's over.
What if one of metal's most unstoppable forces suddenly said, it's over? After more than 40 years of roaring riffs, electrifying solos, and the kind of aggression that reshaped the sound of heavy metal forever, Megadeth is calling it a day. Dave Mustaine, the fiery red-haired frontman, co-founder, and one of the most influential figures in metal history, has officially revealed that the band's next studio album will be their last. And to mark the occasion, they're preparing a massive global farewell tour that will span continents, generations, and emotions. For fans across the world, this announcement didn't just drop, it detonated. Megadeth isn't just another metal band. They were the band that turned anger into art, precision into power, and rebellion into rhythm. Born from the ashes of Dave Mustaine's exit from Metallica, Megadeth was never meant to follow anyone. They were built to lead. They defined speed, structure, and skill in a way no one else dared to attempt. From the first crushing riffs of Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good, to the technical perfection of Rust in Peace and the polished fury of Countdown to Extinction, Megadeth has spent decades turning chaos into legacy. And now that legacy is preparing to take its final bow. In his announcement, Mustaine made it clear, this isn't a breakup filled with bitterness or burnout. It's a decision made with intent, timing, and pride. There are so many musicians who never get to go out on their own terms, he said. Most of them don't get to walk away while they're still on top. For Mustaine, this isn't a goodbye fueled by exhaustion. It's a celebration of survival. After cancer, countless lineup changes, and years of proving himself to doubters, he's choosing to end Megadeth's story exactly the way it began, on his terms. Fans are already calling this moment the end of an era, and rightfully so. Megadeth stood as one of the big four, alongside Metallica, Slayer, and Anthrax, carrying the torch of thrash metal from underground rebellion to worldwide recognition. Every generation of metalheads has a Megadeth album that defined their youth, their rage, their identity. To imagine that fire dimming is surreal, but as with every great story, there's always more behind the curtain. Because the real question here isn't just what Megadeth announced, it's why now? Why would a band still selling out arenas, still releasing chart-topping albums, decide to call it quits while they're stronger than ever? That's the part of the story that reveals the heart behind the headline. And when Dave Mustaine explains his reasoning, it changes everything. For Dave Mustaine, this decision isn't about slowing down, it's about finishing strong. After more than 4 decades of chaos, triumph, and survival, he's finally choosing to end Megadeth on his own terms. In his words, most musicians never get to go out on top, but that's where I'm at right now. It's not hard to see why. Mustaine has battled through everything the music world could throw at him. Addiction, being kicked out of Metallica, near career-ending injuries, even a fight with cancer, and still came back swinging harder every time. He's proven his resilience over and over again. So instead of waiting for time to take its toll, he's deciding when the curtain falls. This isn't a sad farewell, it's a statement of power, a reminder that Megadeth's story won't fade away quietly, but will close the same way it started, loud, fast, and absolutely fearless. And just when fans thought that was the whole story, Mustaine revealed something even bigger. So what exactly did Dave Mustaine announce? Here's where things get real. Megadeth's final studio album is officially set to drop in early 2026, and is already being described as the band's grand finale. The record is being produced by Chris Rakestraw, the same man behind Dystopia and The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead, which means fans can expect that same aggressive, razor-sharp sound Megadeth perfected in their last decade. Along with the new album, Mustaine confirmed a massive global farewell tour that will begin right after its release. The tour is expected to last several years, giving fans around the world one last chance to see the band live before they officially retire from the road. And if that wasn't enough, Mustaine also revealed he's working on a new memoir, a personal deep dive into his life, the band, and everything he's learned along the way. The announcement itself came in pure Megadeth fashion, through a dramatic video message featuring their iconic mascot, Vic Rattlehead, breaking his silence to declare the end. 40 years of metal forged in steel, ending in fire. As for the lineup, the final chapter will feature Mustaine alongside bassist James Lomenzo, drummer Dirt Verburen, and guitarist Teemu Mantasari, who's quickly earned respect from fans after stepping in for longtime member Kiko Loureiro. No album title, no release date, no tour schedule yet. Just a simple message from Mustaine that says it all. Don't be sad, be proud. We've done something together that will never happen again. But to truly understand why this farewell means so much, you have to look back to where it all began.
This is Vic Rattlehead. For over 4 decades, I've been chained in silence. But the end demands my voice. It is confirmed the next Megadeth studio album will be the last. 40 years of metal, forged in steel, ending in fire. And when the new year rises, the global farewell tour. You've heard the warning. Now prepare yourself, Cyber Army. Stay loud, stay tuned, and meet me on the front lines.
To understand why this moment hit so hard, you have to go back to where it all started. In 1983, a young, furious guitarist named Dave Mustaine was kicked out of Metallica just days before they recorded their debut album. Most people would have disappeared after that, but Mustaine, he used that rejection as fuel. Within months, he formed Megadeth, and from that moment, heavy metal would never be the same. Megadeth wasn't just about speed, they were about precision. Their music was sharp, complex, and unrelenting. Albums like Peace Sells, But Who's Buying, Rust in Peace, and Countdown to Extinction didn't just raise the bar for thrash, they defined it. Mustaine's intricate riffs and politically charged lyrics pushed metal into new territory, combining technical brilliance with raw aggression. Over the years, Megadeth weathered everything: addiction, lineup changes, personal feuds, label battles, and even Dave's battle with throat cancer. Yet every time the odds stacked against them, they came back louder, faster, and stronger. Songs like Holy Wars, Symphony of Destruction, and A Tout Le Monde became more than just metal classics. They became part of the genre's DNA. Their influence spread far beyond their own albums. Guitarists idolized Mustaine's down-picking precision. Entire subgenres of modern metal owe their existence to Megadeth's experimentation and intensity. From underground bands to festival headliners, everyone who ever picked up a guitar to play heavy metal owes a nod to the band that proved skill and speed could coexist perfectly. So now, after 4 decades of rewriting the rulebook, Megadeth isn't just ending a career, they're closing a chapter of metal history itself. But while the past is legendary, what's happening now has fans buzzing and speculating about what could come next. The moment Dave Mustaine dropped the announcement, the internet exploded. Fans from every corner of the world flooded comment sections with disbelief, gratitude, and heartbreak. Some said they never thought they'd live to see the end of Megadeth, while others called it the perfect way to go out, on top, not faded. But as with any huge announcement in rock, the news came with rumors. Some fans believe Mustaine isn't done with music entirely, that after Megadeth's farewell, he might continue solo projects or collaborations. Others are whispering about a possible reunion appearance from David Ellefson, the band's former bassist, who helped shape Megadeth's earliest sound. Nothing's confirmed, but the speculation alone shows just how deeply fans still care. There's also growing talk about what this final tour will look like. Will it be a massive multi-year send-off like Kiss's farewell run? Will the band bring back past members for surprise performances? Or could Mustaine pull one last unexpected move, like reuniting the classic lineup for one final show? Through all the theories and emotions, one thing's clear: Megadeth's fans aren't ready to say goodbye. They've been there through every era, every album, every lineup shift, every comeback, and they're determined to make sure this last chapter feels like a celebration, not an ending. But beyond the rumors and excitement, there's one question on everyone's mind: what's actually actually next for Megadeth before the final curtain drops? So, what's next for Megadeth before the final curtain falls? According to Mustaine, the band is already deep in the final stages of recording their farewell album, set for release in early 2026. It's being crafted under his own label, Tradecraft, with longtime collaborator Chris Rakestraw behind the production desk. That means fans can expect that signature Megadeth mix. Technical precision, fierce energy, and the kind of riffs that remind you why they've lasted this long. Once the album drops, the band will launch their global farewell tour, a massive run that's expected to stretch across multiple years. Mustaine wants every corner of the world to have a chance to say goodbye. North America, Europe, Asia, South America, and then the global tour. Everywhere Megadeth's sound ever reached. And if his words are any indication, this won't be a quiet goodbye. It'll be loud, emotional, and unapologetically Megadeth. On top of that, Mustaine's long-awaited memoir is on the way, promising to pull back the curtain on decades of rivalries, redemption, and survival. It's said to cover everything from his early Metallica days to the chaos and triumph that followed. For fans, this final stretch isn't just another tour, it's a historic moment. The last opportunity to witness one of metal's most important bands closing their story the only way they know how, with fire, volume, and heart. But even with all that laid out, there's one more piece to this story. The reason why this farewell means more than just the end of a band. It's the legacy they leave behind. When you look at everything Megadeth has built, it's impossible not to feel the weight of what this farewell really means. This isn't just another band wrapping up their career. It's the closing of a chapter that helped define the DNA of modern metal. From the underground clubs of Los Angeles in the 80s to the biggest stages on the planet, Megadeth proved that technical skill and emotional rawness could coexist. They showed the world that heavy music could be intelligent, precise, and unapologetically aggressive all at once. Every riff, every lyric, every defiant performance was a statement, an act of rebellion turned into art. Dave Mustaine didn't just build a band, he built a movement. He turned personal failure into global success, created a sound that countless artists would chase for decades, and inspired millions to pick up a guitar and play faster, harder, and smarter. Through every controversy, every setback, Megadeth stood as proof that resilience beats everything. So as the final album nears and the farewell tour approaches, fans aren't just mourning the end, they're celebrating the impact. Because when the amps go silent and the lights fade, Megadeth's music will still echo through every mosh pit, every festival, and every kid discovering Rust in Peace for the first time. This isn't just the end of Megadeth, it's the final roar of a band that changed metal forever. But before we close this story completely, there's one last thought Dave Mustaine left for the fans, one that perfectly sums up the heart of this farewell. In his announcement, Dave Mustaine didn't speak like a man defeated. He spoke like a warrior, laying down his sword. His voice was steady but emotional as he said, "I've given my life to Megadeth, and Megadeth has given life to me. But now, it's time to let it live on through you, the fans who kept it alive all these years." That single line hit harder than any riff, because it reminded everyone that Megadeth was never just about the band, it was about the community. The countless fans who grew up with their music, found strength in their words, and carried that spirit into their own lives. As this final tour rolls out, Mustaine made it clear that this isn't a goodbye, it's a thank you. A thank you to every fan who ever bought a record, screamed in the front row, or learnt those impossible solos in their bedrooms. This last ride is for them, and now the torch is passed. The legacy of Megadeth belongs to the next generation of metal fans who refuse to let the sound die.